Hi everyone, this is Tuplex. Welcome back. Today we're going to finish setting up the nuclear fuel processing station, at least the uranium processing for now. And then we'll get started getting the reactor set up. But I think before I actually set up the reactor, I'm going to start making some logistics robots in the main base, in the starter base, because I'm planning to use logistics bots to feed fuel to the reactors. I could do it with belts, but I think in this case I'd rather use bots. Now in this playthrough, I'm planning to use belts as much as is reasonably possible. And what I mean by that is I will use belts as much as I can, except in certain cases where using bots is like significantly better than using belts, or significantly simpler and more easy. Now, you might say that everything is easier when you use bots because you just put a machine in a couple chests and you're done. But what I mean is, with nuclear, if you've ever built a large nuclear setup, you know that when you have the reactors next to each other, you essentially only have one side of the reactor that's available for an inserter to get to. And then you typically also need to have the heat pipes coming out of that side. So trying to squeeze in belts for spent fuel cells and fresh fuel cells, I think, would be a little difficult. So I'll just use bots in this case. And I would also like to have bots in the main base so that when I go back to my train station here, I can start loading supplies into the train and refreshing my own inventory automatically. So, all right. So, this episode, I put in a rail station. Now, for the fuel cells, for processing the fuel in the fuel cells, we're going to need to bring in uranium, obviously. And we also need iron plate for the fuel cells themselves, which are, here they are. Okay, now the uranium pieces will be getting in this area, so we don't need to bring those in, but we do need to bring in iron plate. And I want to see what other ingredients we might need for the plutonium stuff. Still just iron plate, and the plutonium is going to come from this area. Yeah, so we really only need to bring in uranium and iron plate, and I think that this will be a good opportunity to set up a, what would you call it? Like a multiple item train stop to simplify things. We're not going to need large quantities of those things. All right, so I'm going to call this uranium processing, and then this will be the passenger. And then I'll just call this one just plain old uranium processing. Oops. There we go. So I just set up a very simple junction here, going to one lane, and then that single lane branches off into two. So I'll have a passenger station, and then this is where we'll bring in the material. Now I'm going to need bulk rail loaders, which I forgot to bring with me. So I need to go back to the main base quickly. Oh, you know what? No, scratch that. Yeah, we're not going to do that because I'm going to be bringing plates and uranium. and I'm only going to use the bulk rail loaders for ores, not for plates. So in this case, I'll be using chests. Okay, so let's start to configure this. So this is going to be, what are we using for uranium? We're using 141 trains for uranium. I don't think I have any other receiving stations set up for 141. Okay, so I'll just copy the settings on that combinator. Okay, so we're limiting to 1 train, maximum of 6, minimum of 6, which essentially means that it's going to be exactly 6. Okay, and we'll go ahead and hook that up. Let me bring up some electrical connection. I'll just bring that straight up. I like to keep my power lines running at right angles. Why? I don't know. Just makes me feel good. Okay. Yeah, and then I'm thinking, I think that's right. I'm thinking that I'll have, maybe I'll unload uranium on one side and iron on the other side. 1, 2, 1, 2. Okay. It looks like there's more space here, but I think that's just because of the height of the pole. All right, so I'll put some lights down on both sides in this case. All right, and then I'm going to need to make chests. So 4 cars. I think I'll do like 4 chests on the uranium side. Let me make sure I left myself enough room here. Okay, I'm just going to craft, let's see, 16. If I do 4 and 2, then that'll be 16 plus 8, which is 24. Okay, so I'm going to be 1 short. But what I'm thinking is we'll do like 4 iron chests. And then over here, we'll do iron. If we had big chests, well, let me see something. Maybe we can do this all on one side. Let's experiment a little bit. I want to use the loaders, or the mini loaders, to empty these. But I'm curious what happens when we hook these to a circuit. We can set stack size. Oh, you know what? I want the filter mini loader. And I can't make one because I used up all my steel. All right. Guess we got to go back to the main base anyway. What I'm thinking is if I can... I was thinking maybe I could set up a circuit that would filter the output from the chest. So like if I just loaded iron and uranium into the same chests, and then I could change the filter on the mini loaders coming out, then I could put everything into the same set of chests. But the problem with that is that then that means that uranium and iron are going to be going on the same belts, which is not necessarily what we're going to want. So I think I will just do uranium on one side and iron plate on the other side. Okay, so I need to grab some iron, or some steel rather. I should pick up some iron plates while I'm here too, just so I can craft incidental items if I need to. So I'll just grab a few stacks of iron. And a couple stacks of steel. Okay. If you hear crazy laughter in the background, that's because my son has a friend over, and I'm not sure exactly what they're doing. I mean, they're playing with the PlayStation. I'm not sure why they're laughing so crazily, but hopefully you can't hear it. Okay. So what we'll do is we'll use filter stack inserters, and we'll set one side to be filtered for iron plate, and we'll set the other side to be filtered for uranium. So we're going to need 24 of those. So 5, 10, 15, 20, 1, 2, 3, 4. The train network is already getting pretty large. We've got some big distances involved in this map, which I think is pretty cool. That'll really put the long trains or the larger trains to good use. Okay. So on this side, we'll unload uranium. Whoops. And on this side, we'll unload iron. And I'm only using 2 chests of iron just because we're not going to need as much iron as we are going to need uranium. In fact, we could probably even get away with just 1 chest. Let's just do that instead. Whoops. I'm going to do that. I'll just do 1 chest of iron on each of these cars. That'll be more than enough. Because one of these will hold, 48 slots? Yeah. One of these will hold 4,800 iron plates. That's way more than we're going to need to have here. Okay, so now we need to wire in the inventory. Okay, so we're going to wire all the chests together so that. Okay. We're going to need to do that so that the station knows what our inventory is. I'll just leave it like that for now. Okay. And then I'll wire that to there, and I'll wire that to there. Okay. So this, from here, we can tap into the green wire and get the contents of all these chests. All right, and then we're going to be requesting uranium ore. I'm not going to put in the values yet, and we're going to be requesting iron plate. I don't want any trains coming here yet. Okay, so when a train comes here, I'm going to have a requested value. I will have some inventory already. Yeah, I don't need to do anything else with that. All right, now in the case of uranium, I should just request full train loads. Which will be, I think, 16,000. No, it'll be 8,000 because I think the ore stacks in 50s. So 40 slots times 50 is 2,000 each wagon, so 8,000. So I think we should request 8,000 at a time. And then, see, the thing is that because we're using the bulk rail loaders here, we can only load full trains, right? We can't only partially load the train. So every time a request goes out, I'm going to get a full train. So I want to make sure that I don't send out a request unless I'm getting pretty close to 0. Otherwise it might start to accumulate. Because with default settings, I'll start with 8,000. When it gets down to 7,000, it's going to request 1,000 more. but it's going to bring 8,000, and it's just going to, the chests are eventually going to fill up. So we're going to need to, and because this is going to be a mixed station, if I put a provider, or if I put a request threshold here, it's going to apply to both items. So that means that I'm going to have to put the limitation on the supply side. So let's go to the uranium mine, and I'm going to set that so that I'm going to set the request threshold to 8,000. So that it won't supply until we need 8,000, which is a full train. I think that'll do what we want. Trains are a little slow. It'll be good when we can do more, well, get some solid fuel going. That would help a bit. All right. So on this one, I'm going to set another parameter. The provide threshold, I'm going to set to 8,000. No, that's not going to work. Because that's based on how much I have here, not how much is being requested. Yeah, it's got to be on the supply side. I wonder how I can do this then. I mean, I could just set it to 8,000 and I can bring in 8,000 plates too. That's fine. We'll load 8,000 iron plates. So I'm going to set the request threshold for 8,000. So it won't send out a request until we're 8,000 less than our target inventory level, which in this case is going to be 8,000. Or it could be more than 8,000. Okay. So we're going to set the request threshold less, it says less than or equal to, but it's actually going to be greater than or equal to 8,000. All right, so it shouldn't send out a request unless we have less than 8,000 of whatever it is that we're talking about. All right, so let's hook that up. All right, now we got a lot of signals there. Now 8,000 plates, this will hold, yeah, it'll still be less than a full chest with 8,000 plates. Okay, so let's put in the request. And let's see if our train of the appropriate size has left. Yeah, it did. Okay, that's a good first step. We got the right size train going to the station. That means that we set our train size limits correctly. And it fills up to 8,000, which is what we were expecting. I really love this system, this LTN system. Now, you know, I could empty the train with filter loaders instead of inserters. I should really do that. Oh, okay. Yeah, let's set that for uranium. All right, so I'll set this now to uranium so that at least we get the stuff unloaded. Okay, yeah, and it appears to be wired properly. Yeah, I think we should be using the mini loaders to unload the trains, where we can't use the bulk unloaders. So I'm going to need And I need to use the ones with filters. So I'm going to need 24 of those, right? Looks like I can make 16 before I run out of... Oh my gosh, no. All right. Let's go back and get the stuff we need to do that, which is going to be filter inserters. I think that's essentially what I'm short on. It was starting to handcraft several hundred green circuits, which there's no way I'm going to wait for that to happen. So I'll just go pick up a couple stacks of filter inserters. And actually, no, I don't think I'm making these. All right. Yeah, here we go. Filter inserters. Only 50. Want more than that. All right, filter mini loader. Just help get these faster. Yeah, these are rather expensive to make. I wonder if I can... Yeah, it would be nice if I could automate producing those, but maybe once we have robots, I could put a machine there that'll make them, you know, and bring in the underground belts and stuff. But without robots, it's going to be hard to squeeze it in over here. Okay, how many do I have? 14, 15, 16. And then I'm going to need 4 more. Yeah, because we're only going to do 1 chest per side. Or we're only going to do 1 chest for the iron plates. Okay. So this will... Actually, these are not going to unload. The yellow ones will not load faster than a fully upgraded stack inserter. Because the stack inserters can do... A fully upgraded stack inserter, I think, can do something like 27 items per second, which is roughly equivalent to a red belt. So these yellow filter mini loaders are actually going to be slower than a stack inserter after we get all the stack size upgrades. It might be faster than these right now. I'm not sure. But anyway, I think it'll be fun to use the mini loaders. That's what we got the mod for. I'm not sure. I really don't know what those arrows mean. Okay. Yeah, I don't know if these are... You know what? I don't... Let's test this. What happens if I put a mini loader? I think I might actually need 2 mini loaders to make that work. Okay, let's get some power. Yeah, nothing's happening. I think that needs to be the other way. Yeah, we would need 2 in order to unload the train into the chest. And the reason is because only one side can work with a container and the other side has to go to a belt. So if you want to go from container to container with loaders, you need to have 2 loaders. Okay, so that means that I am going back to the inserters. So sorry about all that fuss and delay for nothing. But, you know, I got to figure these things out. It would be better if I figured this out on my own so that I can just present myself as an expert of all things to you guys. But I don't have quite enough time to do that. Hopefully you don't mind watching me work through some things here now and again. All right. Uranium iron plate. Okay, now I'm going to start using some loaders. And I don't have enough. 10, 5, 6. Okay, we're going to have enough here in just a second. I do want to get this uranium processing started before I end this episode because we've been talking about it for a long time and not doing much. All right, so I'm just going to put some inserters here, and I'm going to compress all this down to 4 belts. Okay, so I have 8 centrifuges. So let's see, I think it would be good if it flows in this direction. So let's just set these up. I'll leave plenty of room for more belts and stuff. And I'll do 4 on each side. Okay, and we're just going to be doing plain old uranium processing. Actually, let's not do that because I said I was going to start using substations more as well. So I could actually just put a substation on each side. Yeah, I'll do that. All right. So we'll have 2 coming in with the uranium, and then I'll have 1 going out with the uranium bits. Okay, so that means that I'm going to want these belts to compress down to 2. Looks like I'm probably going to run out of belt too. All right, so this is, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4. There we go. So that one will go there. That one goes there. That one goes there. That one goes there. All right. Okay, and then the substations, I'll put one right here, and I'll put the other right there. Okay, now these have a craft time of 10 seconds, and they're going to put in 10 uranium ore in that 10 seconds. Crafting speed is 0.75, so it's actually a little bit less than that. So that means that we can use just yellow inserters on the inputs, yellow inserters on the outputs. Okay, so let's hook it up and we'll get started with uranium processing. And I will throw in a few lights as well. Okay. So now when this comes out, and I'm going to leave room to, I'll leave enough room that we can double this. Let's see, these are 3x3, right? Yeah. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So let's leave enough room that we can double our uranium processing. It'll come over here, and then what I'll do here is let's get another mini loader. Let me get rid of this uranium first. Okay, so I'm going to put that into a chest. Let's see. I want to make sure this is... There we go. All right, so this will all go into a chest. And from there, what we can do is we can use 2 of the filter mini loaders to get the different materials out. So we can have one side with uranium-238, and we can have the other side with uranium-235. Okay, and let me make 2 more of those. Okay, we actually got one of the good ones already. Okay. So this way we'll be able to sort them into separate chests from the beginning. All right, so our production of uranium is 64 a minute, more or less. So it'll take quite a while before this fills up. I don't recall the stack size of the uranium bits, but it'll be a while before this processes enough to fill up these chests. Still doing good on power, but at least now we've got something that at least now we've got a start on processing the uranium and starting to build up an inventory of uranium to make fuel cells with. So to the left of this, we will have the machines to make the fuel cells themselves. For that, we're going to need iron too, of course. Let's see. Yeah, there we go. And that's made in I don't recall if that's made in a centrifuge or one of these. Okay, yeah, we can make those in here. So over here we'll have a machine making the fuel cells. And even though it's early in the game, I want to use productivity modules. Let's see, what level can I make? I know I researched modules. Okay. Yeah, so right now I'll only be able to use productivity module 1s. But what we can do is we can have, wherever we have this thing, we'll have our machine making the uranium fuel cells. I'll put in 2 efficiency or productivity module 1s, and that'll give us, how much will that give us? 4. That'll give us an 8% boost in the output. So we can use these now. There's going to be a 30% speed penalty, but we don't really care about the speed penalty on this particular operation. But this uranium is so precious that I want to maximize, even if it's only a little bit extra, I want to maximize the amount of fuel cells that I get from it. Now we could also put productivity modules on these. Maybe I should do that. Maybe I should just double this up and put productivity modules. No, that's fine. This is fine. Because I don't necessarily want to get a bunch more uranium-238. It's really this stuff that I'm concerned about. So I'll put the productivity modules there when we start making the fuel cells. But I'm not going to do that for a while, until we have the reactor ready. Then we'll start making the fuel cells. I'll probably have to bring some iron here by hand at the beginning because I don't have a smelting area. But at least now we're set up and we're starting to make some uranium. To be consistent, I should put some Nixie tubes here. 1, 2, 3, 4. I'll just do 4 of them since our target level is 8,000. But I need to get the signal before this one, so let's... Nope, that's not right. Needs to go to the light. There we go. Yeah, I read somewhere that it only works if you use a green wire. But I think they must have fixed that because this is working with red wires. I know at some point you had to use a green wire to connect to the light, but when I read through the LTN description, I didn't see that anymore. So I think they must have made it so that now you can use any wire color to get your signals put in. Okay, so now on this green wire, we can see only the uranium that's in the chests, and not the net of the uranium being requested and what's in the chests. All right, so let's set that to uranium. All right. So I think we're looking good. The uranium supply is starting to drop. So this will get down to 0 before too long, and then we should see another train come in after it hits 0, since our minimum request is 8,000. And it won't request 8,000 until we have exactly 0 left in the chests. So I'll keep an eye on that. And then in the next episode, we'll go back to the starter base and we'll start setting up robot production so we can get some logistics bots and a few roboports set up to help move some materials around. So until then, thank you for watching. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.